Hello, I'm Albert, and what I already have here is some of the segments that I cut up. 8 segments. I glued them in halves, or may I say I glued them in pairs. I made some highlight sections. In this case I made it with 3. I made it 2 dark pieces of wood with a sandwiched pine in the center. And I got them ready to go. These 4 that are still here are to go in between when I glue these together like this. Now let me go to my table saw and show you what I got here. I made this jig just recently, and what I have here is I have it where I have numbers for the most common segments that I'm going to be using, and I'm having a hard time with this camera getting the autofocus to work, and I apologize. But anyway, I don't know if you can see that. And what I have here is numbers for 8 segment compound at a 60-degree wall, the angle of the wall, 60 degrees. And it tells me that it's an 11-degree on the blade, which is the angle of the blade tilted this way, and a miter of 19.7, which is this angle right here. So if I'm making one up on this line right here, which is an 8 segment 60 degree, I need 11 degree on the blade, 19.7, and so I color coded this bar to go right up to it, and there's my 20 degrees, so 19.7 would be just in between the half and the 20 over there. So this miter works pretty well, this jig, for my compounds. And then on the bottom I have another section still on the same jig, and I have it just marked for my ring segments. So this section right here is for an 8 segment ring, which is 22 degrees. Okay, which is 22 degrees, which is at the end of that line right there. Then I have a 10 segment, which is 18 degrees, and 18 degrees will be right there, and so on. So 12 segment 15, and 16 segment 11.25. Now for double up, I made these slices. Okay, and I set them up against my fence, push them in place, and pull it. Once the gap here is tight and against the fence, well, then I know that I'm working on an 8 segment 45 degree wall with a 15.7 degree on the blade, which is set right now, and this miter right here is set at the 16.3 degree to the blade. So what I did, took a board, and this one is 3 1/8. I'm sorry, 3 3/8. And this determines how big your bowl is going to be. You know, the final dimension. I have a stop here, which I can adjust to set how long of a run I need here. And to go with an 8-inch bowl, I need like a 3.5-inch section between here. So I set up the stop. So here's my first I cut the board to match that angle and that bevel. Pull it back, flip it over, bring it up to the stop, and make my cut. So this will give me the segments for, again, an 8 segment on a 45-degree angle. The blade is set as 15.7, or as close as I can possibly get to that, and the miter as 16.3, or as close as I can get to that. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of a jig you have. There's the odds of it coming up 100% accurate are slim. So I will still glue these up in half segments. So once I have 4 sections together, of course with the sandwich in the middle, once I have 4 of these together and they're glued and dried up, I will take them and put them on my sander, my disc sander. So I will true it up the thousandths of an inch, the few thousandths of an inch that I'm off on there. So let me continue with the process. I already have a couple of sections here that are a little dry. I'm going to set the camera back on the tripod and show you the gluing of those segments.